So hello everyone, welcome to part 26 module 1 computer networks. So we were discussing the TCP/IP reference model, right? So we already seen the model in the previous part. So go through part 25 before moving on to this video. And now we will see that layers, each layer in detail. So we saw like there were 4 layers, and those 4 layers we will see in detail, starting with the link layer, that is a network access layer. So the application with the divergent requirements ranging from transferring say files to real-time speech transmission demanded a flexible network architecture. So something that we already seen in the previous video, that's starting from the ARPANET. Initially it was just the ARPANET, but later on when new requirements were coming, so it could be a file transfer ranging from file transfer to a real-time transition of the speech. Everything we want to be done using the network, and that time so we need a network, and it should be flexible in the sense we should be able to inter-network together. Different architecture should work without the problem of heterogeneity issues and different types of information, multimedia along with the text. Everything we should be able to communicate efficiently, and that is the point where we started thinking of this TCP/IP model, and all these requirements led to the choice of a packet switching network based on a connectionless layer that runs different networks together. Why it is highlighted? Because if you are looking at the OSI reference model, simply it is given it as a choice, like you can go for connection oriented or connectionless. But when it comes to connection oriented network, it is something that is good, but have the connection establishment, such overheads were there, the resource reservation, and all those things should happen across different network. So in general, if we are having a packet switching network, again packet switching in the sense the message can be communicated as a single unit, or it can divide into smaller units, let's call it as a packet in general, and packets were switching from one node to another. So by which the pipelining concept can be implemented, and the entire thing should work in a connectionless layer, that it should not depend on a connection. So in the sense, if you are depending on a predefined connection, the problem is that particular communication path, if there is any failure, you are depending that particular communication path. If something happens to that path, what you will do? So there should be some alternative. So when it comes to connectionless communication, there is no issue. If one path fails, definitely we can simply switch to a different path, because we are not depending on a specific connection. So that is a general requirement we are having. Now the lowest layer in the model, that is a link layer, describes what links such as serial lines and classical Ethernet must do to meet the needs of this connectionless internet layer. So in the connectionless in the sense, out of the 4 layers we already seen, that is a link layer, internet layer, transport layer, and the application layer. The second layer is actually the core, that is the you can see the network layer in OSI. In TCP/IP it is called as the internet layer. So that is acting as the core one, linking all the heterogeneous networks together, and that core internet layer is made as connectionless. Now this link layer is acting as a base for it, where it describes what kind of links such as serial lines or the classical Ethernet must use to meet the needs of this connectionless internet layer. So it is not really a layer at all. I mean, when we are looking at link layer, means in the normal sense of the term, but rather an interface between the host and the transmission links. So you can't, it is not a layer in the sense, it is not a layer, an end-to-end layer, okay, but it is just acting as an interface from the particular source machine to the subnet, or from the subnet to the destination machine, like that, to the entry point, exit point, and in between every intermediate nodes. This is something functioning independently. But if you are looking at internet layer onwards, it is somewhat spread across the entire communication. So that is a sense, the compared to other layers, it is rather thin layer here. So this Ethernet and 802.11 are some well-known examples for the link layer protocols. Ethernet, the IEEE 802.3, something I mentioned previously, and we will see this in detail in our subsequent discussion. It's a well-known local area, wired local area network. Similarly, wireless local area network, we have the 802.11, the Wi-Fi. So they are examples, and we have many other examples even, but mainly in TCP/IP, we are depending on these two for wired and wireless communication. Now in internet layer, that is the next one, like what I told you, it acts as a linchpin that holds the whole architecture together. So it corresponds roughly to the OSI network layer. So its job is to permit the host to inject packets into any network and have them travel independently to the destination, potentially on a different network. Yeah, I mean, we want the communication to be connectionless. The packets were injected into the network and they travel independently, means they are not depending on a predefined connection, and they are not depending each other independently. One packet of the same message, say, divided into 10 packets. The first packet will be taking one path, second will be taking other path, like that they can move. And still we have a flexibility. If you want still connection oriented service, the layer above it is providing it, so such a flexibility is also there, but in general by default it is made as a connectionless network. So that is our ultimate aim. So then things will be easy, right? Everyone can independently reach the destination, maybe through a different network. So heterogeneity, everything is there. So they may even arrive in the completely different order. As I already told you, a particular message being divided into say 10 packets, each one is following different route. That is possible, right? The packet 1 on route, and it is possible that the packet 2 may be reaching before packet 1. So the ordering may be violated. If that is the case, if they are reaching the destination in different order, then at what order we send them, the job of the higher layer is to rearrange them. So that is what I am trying to say, at the higher layer. So higher layer in the sense internet layer, above that we have the transport layer. So at the transport layer the rearranging will happen. So if in order delivery is required, so that is important to note down. So only in the case when we want in order delivery, we want ordering to be there, is a must for us. If the information is gathered unordered, it's meaningless. In that case you can order them. So that kind of a flexibility is there. If ordering needed, we can go depend on some protocol in the higher layer, not in the internet layer is purely connectionless only. So that is clearly defined in TCP/IP model. But if you want a connection oriented ordered service at top of it, you can depend on transport layer protocol, connection oriented transport layer protocol, particularly the TCP protocol. And that time the TCP is having features like sequence number, and using that it will order the message and it will deliver to the higher application nicely, without any ordering issue. So that again a choice. If you want, then only you can go for that. But in this is again I want to highlight, because sometimes they may ask you the differences among this TCP/IP and OSI reference model. But most of the differences I am highlighting here only, because in OSI my intention is like making you clear about all layers and how protocols were linked with that. So I don't know whether I highlighted at that point or not, but anyway I want to highlight at this point. When it comes to ISO OSI reference model, network layer, they are not clearly mentioning like it has to be connectionless, nothing is there. So that concept is introduced in TCP/IP model only. As per TCP/IP model, the internet layer should be connectionless. So in a general way, if you want connection oriented service, that you can add in the upper layer. So as it is connectionless and it is following independent path, definitely ordering will not be achieved at the internet layer, but we have a flexibility of achieving ordering at the higher layer. But in ISO is a reference model, it is not mentioned in that way. Rather they were giving choice of connection oriented and connectionless service at the network layer itself. Yes, then here the terminology, the network layer in OSI, here we call it as internet layer. that internet is the terminology internet is used here in a generic sense, and even though it is present in the internet. So that internet, for internet we are using this kind of architectures, like TCP/IP or anything. So when you are using this TCP/IP architecture for the internet, so that terminology, that's a general sense, the network we can call it as internetwork or internet. Okay, but here internet layer, in the sense the network layer particularly is named like that. That's all, because it is something the core of the entire internet. You can link it in that way also. But anyway, that network layer in TCP/IP model, we call it as the internet layer. That's all. So but it is not having any direct relation with the general concept of internet. Now the internet layer defines an official packet format and protocol called the internet protocol, the IP, plus a companion protocol called the ICMP, internet control message protocol, that helps the IP protocol to function well. So this is, again, you have to note down this IP, ICMP, everything I mentioned when I taken that ISO as a reference model also, just to link with that layer. But in that model, they are not clearly mentioning in the network layer this IP should be used or ICMP should be used, nothing like that. They are generally saying that these are all the functionality. Now to achieve this functionality, you can depend on any protocol. You can either, if you want, you can use IP protocol and ICMP, but if you want, you can use something different also. So that is the way ISO model is mentioned. But in TCP/IP model, the protocols are more specific, and they started with the protocol, then the model. But ISO reference model they are focusing, and to that model you can fit with any protocol that can work with the model. But here protocol first. So in that way, in TCP/IP model, they come up with the protocol, that is the internet protocol for the internet layer, and the companion protocol for it, ICMP, and other protocols were also there, but mainly the core protocol is the internet protocol, and there is a specific packet format for the packets which are communicated in the internet layer. And this packet format also we will see when it comes to IP. We have version 4 and version 6, different packet format they are using. Okay, and that we will see at that time. And the role of the companion protocol, that is ICMP, something I already told you, the internet control message protocol, it is taking care of all the problems that may happen in the internet, starting from the congestion and other scenarios. So if it is congestion, it will be notified to the individual machines, like something wrong happened, and maybe whether the connectivity is there, that ICMP ping messages, echo messages, and echo reply, like that many. It's a kind of a helper when the IP protocol is running as a core one. To help this IP from all the problems, we have the supporting protocol, that is ICMP. Anyway, when we are discussing this IP and ICMP, maybe in the 4th module somewhere, we will see this in detail. Yes, that about the internet layer. Now the job of the internet layer is to deliver the IP packets. So particularly, so we call the packets, but in OSI model it is just the network layer protocol data units, just packet, that only. But here we are specifically saying that we have to deliver the IP packets, because for packets it should follow the IP protocol. So that kind of a constraint we are having here. So IP packets, where they are supposed to go, I mean the IP packets were communicated in the internet layer. So the packet routing is clearly a major issue here, as is congestion, though IP has not proven effective at avoiding congestion. So congestion is something, again, if you want, you can highlight as a difference in the sense for in ISO as a reference model. The congestion is something given as a responsibility for the network layer, and it is supposed to handle it somehow. But in when it comes to TCP/IP model for internet layer, when you are using this IP protocol, the IP itself is not providing any congestion control method, but whenever there is congestion, the ICMP is there to help you, like they will generate a special ICMP packet called ICMP source conch packet, something like that, and that will inform all the individual devices that there is congestion. All of you please slow down the communication. But just like IP, this ICMP is also not a guaranteed communication, in the sense they are providing best effort delivery. We are using a terminology called best effort delivery. Means they will try their best to deliver the information, whether it is congestion notification or the actual communication. some they will put their maximum effort on delivering the communication, but there is no guarantee on 100% delivery of it. So even though in presence of this congestion, the ICMP packets will be generated, but there is no guarantee that this ICMP correctly reaches the individual machines and the congestion will be under control. So we should need some extra care for dealing with the congestion, and in TCP/IP model particularly, again this congestion can be handled nicely if you use the transport layer protocol as TCP. So that is what makes this TCP so special, in the sense like many things I mentioned, that connection oriented service, the ordering of the communication, this congestion control, everything is done by TCP. So that is what makes the transport layer heavy and TCP a very special protocol. But still, if you know, means all application don't want that much complication like this ordering, the connection oriented service, this congestion handling and all. For example, suppose you want I just want to know the time, current time only. So the communication is like there will be some time server, and your machine is asking like what is the current time, so that I can tune with the that time and I can have my communication like that. So it is just, we call such protocols as a request reply protocol. Just a request is sent by the client and there is a single reply, but it is not like a file transfer or a mail transfer. It is just a single request message and a single reply, and that time you don't want this much complication. So that is where we go for the connection less IP and connection less transport layer combination. Say we will see that in our subsequent discussion. So right now I hope you got an idea like what are all the functionality means on this internet layer. Many functionality we pointed out in our ISO as a reference model. Everything is part of this TCP/IP model also, but here we are mainly focusing on the protocol first, and then the protocol will try to provide the functionality as mentioned in the OSI model. So in that way the routing is something crucial. So IP will do this routing nicely, but the congestion handling IP is not proven effective at avoiding congestion. So that is on problem we are here having. I think the two layers, link layer and internet layer, is clear for you. We can stop at this point. The remaining two layer we will discuss in the next video. Thank you.